Launched flails are weird. They are a subclass of weapons inside another subclass of weapons, and there are only 6 of them in the entire game. They range from the rather diminutive chain knife all the way up to the flare-on, which is one of the best melee weapons of its class. What separates these launched flails from regular flails is they have starting momentum upon being used. The extra momentum of launched flails combined with their ability to completely ignore gravity gives them versatility that regular flails simply don't have. There is one exception to this though, and this is the anchor. Much like the bloody machete in comparison to all their boomerangs, this weapon is the only launched flail to follow the teachings of Newton. This gives it the ability to strike enemies from the back like this, something no other launched flail is able to do. After being buffed twice, the anchor also has a very high base damage of 70, a very long range, a speedy fire rate, and a strong knockback value that makes it well suited for ground invasions, much like the machete. So far, this weapon looks pretty good on paper, so why isn't it used more often? Well, firstly, its method of obtaining. Much like every relatively obscure weapon in Terraria, it's hidden behind fishing. Granted, it's not really rare, being a 3.78% chance from probable crates, but many of us just don't have the time or willpower to fish. Secondly, its crowd control abilities are challenged by the Drippler Crippler, a weapon even more specialized for crowd control than the anchor. While the Drippler Crippler is more sluggish due to it being an unlaunched flail, the flail special abilities synergize with crowd control very well. It also has more than 1.5 times the base damage of the anchor, meaning its reduced damage, spin, and projectile attacks deal similar damage to the anchor itself. This weapon is also obtained via fishing, so I bet most going for the anchor would choose to go for this one anyway. Lastly, even if it is powerful for crowd control, that too often isn't the objective in early hard mode. The first priority in early hard mode is to defeat a boss, likely Queen Slime or one of the mechanical bosses, and in terms of single target damage, the anchor really just sucks. For single target, just like in multi-target, the anchor happens to be outclassed by something from within its own subclass. If you're playing on a corruption world, the chain guillotines absolutely wreck the anchor in any single target aspect. They fire and travel significantly faster, travel farther, and only deal slightly less damage per hit. You can also have 2 guillotines out at the same time, so long-range combat isn't hampered by the limited projectile count of 1. The guillotines were also buffed even further in 1.4.4, making them even more viable than they were before. In reality, these 2 weapons seal the anchor's fate as a bad weapon, even in flail runs. You won't be seeing the anchor in any of these thumbnails, that's for sure. Even though it was buffed 2 times and gifted this unique ability, the anchor is still unable to stand up to the best weapons of its subclass. I wonder if fringe weapons like this will ever have a place in the base game. In the end though, the anchor was worth a curious look, which is why I made a video on it, but what it has simply isn't enough to make it truly special. Hello, if you're part of the 3/4 of my audience who aren't subscribed, I ask you to subscribe. Here's a randomly chosen video of mine you might enjoy. Either way though, thank you for watching, and good day and goodbye.